create a world in which my son is proud of what.
But tonight, that vision feels shaken. Just moments ago, Buckingham Palace confirmed heartbreaking news about Prince William, and the shock has rippled across the entire United Kingdom like a wave of disbelief. The heir to the throne, long seen as the steady and reliable force shaping the future of the monarchy, now finds himself at the center of a deeply emotional and tragic revelation, one that has left millions struggling to make sense of what really happened behind the palace gates. The announcement came swiftly, without any warning, a brief statement that carried more weight than words could hold. Within seconds, news outlets across Britain and beyond erupted with headlines, speculation, and sorrow. Social media timelines filled with messages of heartbreak, confusion, and fear. For years, Prince William has represented the balance between tradition and transformation, the calm, collected figure who could bridge the gap between the royal family's centuries-old image and the modern world's expectations. But now, that stability has been shaken, and the public is left asking what went wrong. Inside the palace, sources describe a tense atmosphere, a mix of grief, urgency, and quiet attempts to control the narrative before it spirals out of control. Rumors swirl through every corner of London, from crowded pubs to bustling newsrooms, each theory more emotional than the last. Was this a personal crisis, a family rift, or something much deeper within the institution itself? The truth, it seems, is far more serious than anyone anticipated. What's unfolding may redefine not only Prince William's role but the very identity of the royal family moving forward. And as the nation watches in stunned silence, one thing is clear: this is more than just royal drama, it's a turning point in British history. Before we go deeper into what led to this moment, take a second to hit that like button and share your thoughts below. Your perspective matters, because this story isn't just about a prince, it's about what the monarchy represents to millions of people who believed in its promise, its duty, and its future. His reputation for fairness, empathy, and quiet resilience has brought him not just respect but genuine affection from people around the world. Yet now, following the palace's sudden announcement, a cloud of uncertainty has fallen over everything. The official statement, though brief, was deeply moving. It revealed that the prince is enduring what was described as an incredibly difficult and deeply personal time, and it appealed to the public for compassion as the royal family navigates the situation. Those few words were enough to send shockwaves through the media. Within moments, headlines dominated every major news outlet. TV anchors spoke with trembling voices, struggling to find the right words to explain what had just been confirmed online. Across the globe, the reaction was immediate. Terms like heartbreaking and unbelievable flooded social media as millions tried to make sense of the revelation. Whether at home, in cafes, at work, or on their commutes, attention quickly turned to Prince William. Many spoke of his composure, his unwavering sense of duty, and his lifelong dedication to public service. People remembered how he carried himself after Queen Elizabeth's passing, how he stood firmly beside King Charles, and how he continued his work despite constant public scrutiny. To imagine that someone once seen as unshakable could now be facing such profound pain has left many outside Buckingham Palace and beyond feeling a deep sense of sorrow and helplessness. Crowds began to gather almost immediately after the announcement. Some people came simply to stand in silence, holding each other as if to find balance amid the shock. Others arrived with flowers and handwritten notes, small gestures of compassion for a man and a family they've never met, yet have followed their entire lives. There was no spectacle in their grief, only quiet disbelief and a shared realization that even those born into privilege cannot escape life's most human hardships. Inside the palace, reports describe an atmosphere that is somber and restrained. Staff have been told to protect the family's privacy and to manage all media inquiries with utmost care. Sources say the prince's focus now is on his family and his personal well-being. Close friends have appealed for understanding, while aides describe this as one of the most trying moments the royal family has faced in recent years. The impact of the news, they add, will likely reverberate for weeks. Prince William has long symbolized stability, a living link between royal tradition and the modern world, but now that bridge seems to tremble beneath the weight of sorrow as Britain watches in quiet concern. One thing is certain: this will be remembered as one of the most painful and defining moments in contemporary royal history. When the official statement from the royal household finally appeared, it was as though time itself paused. The words were measured and composed, yet carried a deep, unmistakable sadness. The announcement confirmed that Prince William was facing an intensely private and difficult situation, and asked for space as the family faced it together. Despite its formal tone, the heartbreak beneath the message was unmistakable. Within minutes, television programs were interrupted, news sites overflowed with updates, and social media was flooded with disbelief. After days of silence, the palace had spoken, and the world wished it hadn't been under such heartbreaking circumstances. The timing only deepened the shock. The royal household had appeared to be entering a rare stretch of calm after months filled with public duties and appearances, but the announcement shattered that sense of stability in an instant. Even veteran royal correspondents admitted they hadn't seen it coming. Cameras immediately turned toward Buckingham Palace, where the tall iron gates stood motionless under a grey London sky. That quiet image quickly became a symbol of national concern, a visual echo of the unease spreading throughout the country. Beneath the statement's carefully measured tone lay an unspoken truth. Something serious had occurred, something that touched the very heart of the monarchy. For a family known for its restraint and dignity, the emotional weight of the wording was striking. Phrases like deeply personal and difficult are never used lightly in royal communication. They signal pain while still protecting privacy, a way of revealing without truly exposing. Inside the palace, the mood was described as subdued and heavy. Staff moved quietly through the corridors, whispering in low tones. Even long-serving members of the royal household appeared unsettled. Sources suggest that the decision to release a statement came only after lengthy private discussions among senior royals. There was debate over whether to speak at all, but ultimately it was Prince William's wish that the truth, no matter how painful, be acknowledged. He has long valued honesty with the public, even when it opens the door to scrutiny. As the news spread, messages of support flooded in from across the Commonwealth and beyond. Political leaders, celebrities, and ordinary citizens alike offered words of sympathy and admiration, praising the prince's steadfastness and compassion throughout his years of service. Others sent prayers and reflections, recognizing that even those born into privilege are not shielded from suffering. In homes, offices, and cafes, people spoke softly about Prince William, his strength, his grace, and the quiet burden he now carries. The public recalled the image of the boy following his mother's coffin, the dignified young man, and the dedicated father. For millions, connecting this person to a new tragedy felt like a personal loss. The news was completely unforeseen. While the monarchy has long symbolized resilience and stability, this event exposed the profound humanity behind the institution's formal exterior. The nation shares in the grief, respecting the royal family's plea for privacy, while collectively hoping that compassion will eventually arise from this dark time. The official announcement sent a shockwave through the country, creating a palpable shift. The news spread instantly across all media, fueled by global disbelief and sadness. Prince William's name trended worldwide as people united in their shock. He had been a symbol of constancy for so many, and now he was at the center of a story everyone wished was untrue. Social media transformed into a space for collective mourning. Thousands of messages expressing sorrow and love appeared instantly from around the globe. Timelines were filled with photos of the prince with his family, with the phrase "I can't believe this" repeated endlessly. For a moment, the usual noise of the online world quieted, replaced by a shared, real-time grief, with every post expressing a hope for the family's strength. World leaders and public figures quickly added their voices, releasing statements that honored the prince's years of quiet service. The charities he supported expressed their gratitude for his leadership. It was reported that even former members of the royal family reached out privately, putting past differences aside. This emotion moved from the digital world into physical spaces. Empathetic crowds gathered outside royal palaces. At Buckingham Palace and Windsor, people stood in quiet groups, leaving flowers and handwritten notes of support. The usual tourist atmosphere was replaced by a respectful silence, as if the entire nation had paused to reflect. Television commentators noted the unprecedented public response, describing it as a testament to how Prince William is viewed as a figure of modern empathy and continuity. Witnessing the prince endure such a profound and personal struggle forced the public to acknowledge the profound humanity and fragility that exists behind the timeless symbol of the crown. The emotional resonance of the event was astonishing in its reach, touching individuals who had never before felt any particular connection to the royal family. In classroom, educators set aside their planned curricula to gently guide conversations and address the innocent, yet poignant questions of children trying to process the news. Across the country, in offices and workplaces, colleagues gathered in hushed groups around phones and computer screens, collectively refreshing news feeds for any fragment of an update. On buses and trains, A quiet, unspoken understanding passed between commuters, a shared look that acknowledged a common sorrow. This grief was a paradox. It was a collective national experience that simultaneously felt deeply intimate, as if each person had lost a familiar and cherished figure from their own lives. As daylight faded, the scene at the palace gates transformed into a powerful, silent tribute. The growing darkness was pushed back by the gentle glow of countless candles, their flames flickering in a unified vigil. The cold stone and ironwork were softened by a sprawling carpet of floral offerings, their colors muted in the evening light. Handwritten notes tethered to the gates fluttered in the evening breeze, their personal messages whispering of the collective heartache. Yet within this profound heartbreak, there emerged an unmistakable and powerful sense of unity. A rare, quiet togetherness settled over the crowd, a solidarity that seemed to effortlessly transcend the usual boundaries of class, age, and personal belief. Across Britain and around the world, people stood side by side, their hearts heavy, but their spirits joined by a powerful shared compassion. It was a poignant reminder to the world that even in the deepest sorrow, our shared humanity endures, and from the darkest moments, the faint but steady light of hope can still shine through. For his entire life, Prince William has existed under the immense pressure of a crown he has not yet been called to wear. The heavy mantle of destiny was placed upon his shoulders when he was still just a boy, and from that moment forward, the world has never averted its watchful eyes. Every single step he has taken, every public word he has spoken, and every smile he has offered has been meticulously measured, analyzed, and permanently etched into the collective memory of a nation. The public looks to him and sees a dual legacy: the enduring spirit of his beloved mother Diana, and the entire future promise of the monarchy itself. He has had to navigate his path while bearing the weight of history, constantly balancing his personal identity with his predetermined public destiny. To the outside world, Prince William has always been the picture of poise, a figure of unshakable calm and steadfast reliability. Yet beneath that carefully maintained exterior is an individual who has shouldered a weight of expectation far beyond what most people could ever comprehend. The role of heir to the throne is not merely an honorific, it is an immense, lifelong commitment, a burden that intensifies with each year, demanding everything of the person who holds it. William's entire life has been a preparation for leadership, a continuous education in statecraft and duty, all while being expected to navigate the complex intersection of ancient tradition and the relentless demands of contemporary life. However, he is not just a prince in waiting, he is also a husband and a father, a man who, like any other, yearns for simple, unobserved moments with his family, away from the glare of camera flashes and the intrusion of sensational headlines. For many years, he performed this delicate balancing act with remarkable grace, making the immense challenge appear almost effortless. Recently, however, the strain of this dual existence has become more visible. Those who follow the royal family closely observed subtle but telling shifts. His calendar of public appearances grew noticeably lighter, and his engagements became less frequent. On the occasions he was seen in public, the vibrant energy that once defined his presence seemed diminished, replaced by a subdued and visible weariness. The famous, easygoing smile was still offered to the crowds, but it often seemed to lack its former warmth, failing to fully reach his eyes. Initially, many dismissed these signs as simple exhaustion, an understandable result of juggling the immense pressures of his royal role with his responsibilities as a father and husband. Yet, as weeks turned into months, a quiet concern began to circulate among commentators and palace insiders alike. Behind the scenes, according to sources, William was finding it increasingly difficult to maintain his equilibrium. The colossal demands of his public duty were crashing into private, personal challenges that no amount of royal training could ever simulate. The immense pressure to uphold the dignity of the crown, all while desperately trying to protect his family from the unyielding and often invasive public scrutiny, was becoming an almost unbearable weight. Each new day seemed to bring a fresh wave of stories, speculation, and expectations, leaving precious little room for the peace and privacy any person needs. Those nearest to him, most notably his wife, could see the cumulative toll this relentless pressure was exacting, witnessing the quiet struggle of a man caught between the throne he is destined for and the family he is determined to shield. It is widely reported that Kate, with deep concern, had been encouraging William to reduce his pace, to carve out more time for himself and for their children, and to feel empowered to step back from his duties when the burden became too heavy. Yet, for a man whose entire identity has been built upon a foundation of service and unwavering responsibility, such a step was profoundly challenging. The monarchy operates on an unspoken code of endurance, a quiet expectation to persevere regardless of personal cost. However, there is a limit to what even the most resilient person can withstand, and the constant grinding pressure had begun to exact a heavy toll. The signs were subtle, and very few outside their inner circle understood the true gravity of the situation. The recent official announcement from the palace served as a stark revelation, making it undeniably clear that the strain he was under was far more severe and deeply rooted than the public had ever suspected. It pulled back the curtain on a fundamental truth, that behind the grand titles, the historic rituals, and the immaculate public appearances, there is simply a human being, grappling with pressures of an extraordinary magnitude. For the first time, the world is being compelled to see Prince William not just as a future monarch, a symbol of stability, but as a man caught in an immense personal conflict. He is torn between the immense, predetermined destiny of the life he was born into and the simple, private family life he has always sought to build and protect. The delicate balance he maintained for so long, which once appeared so effortless, has finally and visibly faltered. The nation that has long looked to him as a figure of steadfast continuity now looks upon him with a wave of profound compassion. In this moment of shared vulnerability, his humanity shines with a clarity and intensity that outshines any crown or symbol of office. It is a powerful reminder that titles and positions do not grant immunity from human suffering, and that even a prince can be brought to a breaking point by the cumulative weight of a world's expectations. Kate and the family's pain behind the stately facade of Kensington Palace, insulated from the glare of the media and the relentless noise of public speculation, a family is enduring a quiet, private anguish. While the news of Prince William's struggles arrived as a sudden shock to the public, for his wife and those within their closest circle, this has not been a sudden crisis. Instead, it has been a slow and painful journey, a gradual unfolding of worry and strain that they have had to navigate in isolation. They have been witnessing firsthand the slow erosion of his well-being, a process that has been as heartbreaking as it has been helpless to stop completely. Their pain is not that of distant observers, but of intimate companions in a struggle that has remained, until now, hidden from view. At the very center of this deeply personal crisis stands Kate Middleton, the steadfast partner who has consistently remained by William's side through every trial and tribulation. She has long been celebrated by the public for her unshakable poise, her genuine warmth, and her remarkable ability to seamlessly blend the formality of royal life with the nurturing role of a mother. In the wake of the recent announcement, these very qualities are being tested to their absolute limits, under a pressure and scrutiny that is almost impossible for outsiders to fully comprehend. According to those with insight into the couple's private life, the atmosphere within their home is one of profound and determined resilience. Kate has made it her primary mission to shield their 3 young children from the gravity of the situation, creating a protective buffer around their world. She is acutely aware that their existence is perpetually in the public eye, and she is fiercely dedicated to ensuring that their home remains a sanctuary, a safe harbor where the simple, joyful sounds of childhood can still be heard, even as a tide of public concern and sadness laps at their doors. Close friends report that she has become the anchor of the family, meticulously maintaining the comforting structure of everyday life. This includes the familiar rituals of the school run, the quiet intimacy of bedtime stories, and the constant reinforcement of a loving and secure environment. These actions are her method of preserving the family's core, of clinging to a sense of normalcy when everything outside threatens to descend into chaos. This is not, however, the first time the Duchess has been required to summon immense inner fortitude while in the global spotlight. From the moment she entered the royal fold, she has been subjected to an unrelenting and microscopic examination, with every outfit, gesture, and facial expression analyzed and often critiqued. Throughout it all, she has projected an image of unwavering grace, never allowing the immense pressure to visibly fracture her calm exterior. Those close to her attest that this serenity is drawn from a deep well of devotion to her husband and children. Her strength is rooted in a fundamental belief in the power of family unity and the quiet, powerful bravery that is found in steadfastly supporting the people you love. Inside the palace, the prevailing mood is understandably somber, yet it is not without a foundation of hope. Staff members move through the corridors with a respectful quietness, sensitive to the difficult circumstances. The wider royal family has mobilized to offer its support, with senior members making private visits and maintaining regular contact to check on the well-being of both William and Kate. There is a collective and deeply felt understanding within the institution that the challenges this young family is currently navigating transcend the boundaries of official duty and royal protocol. This is, at its heart, a profoundly human experience, This is a profoundly personal ordeal, a type of pain that cannot be alleviated by official communiques or public gestures. It exists in a private realm where such formalities hold little power. Yet, even amidst this profound sorrow, those within their inner circle observe that the connection between William and Kate has been fortified, emerging from this trial with even greater resilience. While they have navigated difficulties in the past, the current situation has served as a stark reminder of life's inherent fragility and the indispensable role that love plays in providing stability and cohesion. It is reported that Kate dedicates her evenings to simply being with William, offering a steady, calming presence and reinforcing that he does not have to carry his burdens alone. As a united front, they are resolved to confront the future, setting aside their royal titles to prioritize their roles as life partners and devoted parents. Their shared mission is to safeguard their family in a world that constantly intrudes, rarely granting them the privacy and peace they need to simply exist. The atmosphere within the palace, while understandably grave, is equally defined by a powerful sense of affection and solidarity. Those historic walls, so often perceived as emblems of authority and ancient custom, now resonate with the intimate sounds of a family supporting one another. One can imagine the hushed tones of children, the murmured words of comfort, and the silent, steadfast commitment between a husband and a wife who are determined not to be fractured by adversity. This is the reality that exists behind the public narrative, a family circle, strengthened by deep bonds of love, collectively enduring an unforeseen and tempestuous period. The hidden burden of royal life. To the global audience, existence within the British royal family has always appeared to be a picture of gilded serenity. The majestic palaces, the ornate ceremonies, the illustrious titles, and the sheer grandeur all contribute to an image of unparalleled privilege that captivates and enchants. However, the reality that exists behind those imposing gates and within those marble halls is one of immense complexity and pressure, a world scarcely understood by those outside of it. To be royal is not simply to be a symbol of state, it is to inhabit a gilded cage constructed entirely from duty. Every action is subject to scrutiny, every utterance is weighed and analyzed, and even the most intimate moments are seldom truly one's own. For Prince William, who has lived his entire life under this relentless and unforgiving gaze, the psychological weight has only intensified over time. From his earliest infancy, a portion of his identity was effectively appropriated by the public domain. The flash of cameras was a presence before he could form words, and his name was appearing in headlines before he had even mastered the alphabet. The heavy mantle of public expectations settled on his shoulders from childhood, becoming an invisible but inescapable companion throughout his life. From a very young age, Prince William understood a daunting truth. His simplest smile or smallest gesture had the power to inspire an entire nation, yet any perceived misstep could just as easily become a source of international controversy and endless analysis. This heavy awareness was gradually etched into the very core of his being, fundamentally shaping his character. While the public saw only the polished figure of a prince, there was, in truth, a young boy and later a man, navigating the immense challenge of learning how to live a life in which the simple, fundamental experience of being an ordinary person was forever denied to him. As he matured, the nature of these pressures only became more complex. The profound joys of marriage, fatherhood, and his royal duties were inevitably shadowed by a corresponding intensification of public scrutiny. A cherished family photograph, a formal state event, or a fleeting unguarded moment of emotion, each was instantly seized upon and meticulously dissected by the media and the public alike. The royal family exists under a societal microscope that magnifies every victory and every sorrow with equal intensity, leaving precious little room for the quiet, unobserved peace that every person needs. For William, an individual who has always deeply valued his privacy and cherished glimpses of a normal life, this relentless attention has been more than just an official obligation. It has been a continuous invisible battle fought on the most personal of fronts. The institution of the monarchy demands a facade of flawless perfection, yet the fundamental nature of being human is inherently imperfect. A powerful unspoken code among the royals dictates that one must endure without complaint, maintaining a dignified composure even when the weight of life feels nearly unbearable. This is a lesson passed down through generations, a doctrine of silent resilience from sovereign to heir. However, in our modern world, where the lines between public and private life are increasingly erased by digital technology and insatiable public curiosity, upholding that silence is no longer merely a duty. It has become an exhausting daily act of survival. Those close to William, including friends and trusted advisors, have long been aware of his quiet internal conflict. It is a lifelong struggle to reconcile two irreconcilable existences. On one side is the life he is destined to lead as the future king, a path where duty must always come before personal desire. On the other is the life his heart truly yearns for, a life filled with unscripted laughter, simple family dinners without an audience, and the profound freedom to live without the crushing weight of expectation. Navigating the profound divide between these two identities, the public prince and the private man, is a challenge of unimaginable scale, one that few individuals could ever be expected to withstand. Each smile displayed for the public is carefully considered. Every spoken word is weighed for its national significance, and even rare moments of repose are shadowed by the persistent awareness of a watching world. The recent revelations concerning his personal struggles have, however, torn aside the carefully maintained veil of regal infallibility. It has served as a powerful and poignant reminder to all that behind the glittering crowns and historic titles are human beings with hearts that can be broken, and with private anxieties that centuries of tradition cannot simply wish away. For William, the concealed weight of his royal existence has become a stark lesson in how a life of duty, while noble in its purpose, can also possess a crushing gravity. The prince, long held up as a symbol of national strength and stability, now stands as undeniable proof that even those born into the greatest privilege can become captives to the expectations placed upon them. It is behind the gleaming, polished facade of monarchy that a simple, enduring truth persists. Humanity remains, beating quietly, reminding everyone that even princes can bleed, though their wounds are often unseen. History repeats. The parallels to the past are both striking and inescapable. For hundreds of years, the British monarchy has presented itself as the ultimate emblem of resilience, surviving crises that would have dismantled lesser establishments. Yet behind the grandeur of its state occasions and ancient rituals, it has also been a family deeply acquainted with grief. Each successive generation has confronted its own moment of profound challenge, a time when the immaculate curtain of royal ceremony was drawn back to expose the very human suffering that exists beneath the crown. The current situation with Prince William feels very much like one of these defining historical junctures, a somber instance of history echoing through the halls of the present. For many, the memory of his mother, Princess Diana, remains vivid and painful, an emotional wound that has never fully healed. Her narrative endures as one of the most tragic in the modern annals of the royal family, a lasting testament to how the immense pressures and profound isolation of royal life can damage even the most vibrant of spirits. The young prince who once, as a boy, walked in solemn grief behind his mother's coffin, grew to adulthood with an intimate understanding of what it means to live perpetually in the shadow of a great tragedy. The heartbreaking image of William and his brother during that funeral procession is a memory permanently seared into the consciousness of a global audience. It was in that moment the world was granted its first, clear view of the devastating human cost of a royal existence, the cruel manner in which public duty and private sorrow can become inextricably and painfully intertwined. The long reign of Queen Elizabeth II was likewise marked by its share of personal and national sorrows. She guided the monarchy through the turmoil of wars, the embarrassment of family scandals, and periods of deep collective mourning. Each time the institution persevered, not because it remained untouched by these events, but because it discovered a way to project an image of strength and steadfast composure, even when the foundations were shaken. The late Queen's legacy of stoic perseverance established the benchmark for all subsequent members of the royal family. Her poignant observation that grief is the price we pay for love has reverberated through every period of royal difficulty that has followed, and today, in a new time of trial, her words ring with renewed and profound relevance. Prince William, who has long been perceived by the public as a figure of unwavering constancy, a vital link connecting the monarchy's storied history with its modern future, now finds himself at the center of a crisis that evokes powerful echoes from the past. The very same strains of duty and scrutiny that profoundly affected his mother and weighed heavily upon his grandmother are now his to bear. The immense burden of being a leader and a source of comfort for the nation, while simultaneously maintaining a composed exterior even in the midst of personal anguish, remains an unyielding demand. The British public now watches this deeply personal history unfold with a complex and familiar sentiment, a blend of heartfelt empathy and captivated interest, while quietly questioning if the institution has genuinely absorbed the difficult lessons from its own past. Throughout its long history, the monarchy's most significant tests have seldom been political. They have been emotional. the resilience of the entire institution has perpetually hinged on the perceived humanity of its members. And whenever that humanity shows signs of strain, the very foundations of the crown seem to shudder. The recent news concerning Prince William's personal struggles has served as yet another powerful reminder to the world that a royal title and a jeweled crown offer no protection for a human heart. While the royal family symbolizes the enduring continuity of the nation, its private battles expose a universal vulnerability that exists in every home, regardless of its status. As the nation observes, there is an unmistakable feeling of history repeating itself, a sense that a familiar narrative is being written anew, merely with a different date on the calendar. The country now waits, watching with bated breath to see whether the monarchy will navigate this tempest with its characteristic dignity, or if the ordeal will leave an indelible mark, forever altering the institution and the family at its heart. What is certain is that the monarchy is perpetually molded by its history, including its most painful chapters. Within the halls of the palace, the past never truly recedes. Its presence is felt in a constant quiet murmur, serving as a reminder to every crown-wearing successor that the weight of legacy is often carried alongside personal sorrow. This leads to the pressing question on the public's mind, a question that is simple to ask but laden with uncertainty: what happens now? In the aftermath of the palace's grave announcement, the future of Prince William is the subject of intense and widespread speculation. For an institution founded on order and tradition, this period feels like a step into uncharted territory. The heir to the throne, long viewed as the stable cornerstone of the monarchy's future, now confronts a pivotal moment that holds the potential to reshape not just his own life, but the very direction of the royal family. Away from public view, critical discussions are taking place. It is reported that senior advisors and close aides are in consultation with the king, carefully considering decisions that could change the fundamental operations of the royal household. There are murmurs of strategies already being implemented, involving discrete modifications to official schedules and public roles. Some observers suggest that other senior members of the family may take on a more prominent public profile for a time, creating a necessary buffer for William to prioritize his family and his personal health. While the monarchy has navigated crises in the past, the current situation carries a distinct gravity. The global gaze is more intense than ever, ensuring that every action will be permanently recorded in the historical record. For King Charles, this is not merely a matter of state, but a profoundly personal one. He has always expressed great respect for his son's unwavering dedication, seeing him as the very personification of the crown's future. However, behind the composed demeanor of a sovereign beats the heart of a father who knows all too well the heavy personal price that a life of royal duty can exact. According to sources within the royal circle, the king has advocated for a measured and patient approach, resolved to safeguard both the well-being of his son and the enduring stability of the monarchy. His directive, conveyed both publicly and behind closed doors, has been consistent. The institution must persevere, but never by sacrificing its essential human heart. Within Buckingham Palace, a mood of hushed expectancy prevails. Each public statement and every word released to the press is meticulously considered for its implications. Officials have committed to providing further information only when appropriate, a phrase that offers a measure of reassurance to a concerned public while also creating a vacuum of information. This silence has inevitably been filled with conjecture. Some analysts suggest the prince may temporarily withdraw from his public role, while others speculate he will maintain a presence, albeit with a significantly reduced schedule and bolstered by the support of his inner circle. Regardless of the path chosen, the resolutions reached during this critical period are destined to have a profound and lasting impact. Experts on the monarchy concur that this juncture may well be recorded as a pivotal moment in the history of the modern royal family. While the institution has withstood the tests of war, abdication, and public scandal, its survival has often hinged on its ability to adapt by demonstrating genuine empathy and a degree of openness. In the current era, displaying vulnerability is increasingly seen not as a failing, but as a powerful means of fostering a genuine connection between the crown and the public it serves. Beyond the palace walls, the public mood is reflective yet imbued with a sense of solidarity. Quiet gatherings form, with individuals leaving floral tributes and handwritten messages. They speak in soft tones about the prince, a figure who has, since his childhood, shouldered the collective hopes and expectations of an entire nation. The global audience that has witnessed his journey from a grieving boy to a man of profound resilience and empathy now observes as he confronts one of the most formidable challenges of his life. Regardless of the decisions made in the near future, one reality is undeniable: this period will be historicized as a critical juncture, not only in the life of Prince William, but for the very future of the monarchy. The deliberations happening in private behind closed doors will ultimately chart the course for the crown. As the nation waits in suspense, the entire kingdom seems to be united in a single, concerned thought. Across the United Kingdom, a palpable and gentle wave of sympathy has emerged. The atmosphere is thick with a collective empathy, as if the country is pausing in shared concern for the family caught in this trial. For the first time in a long while, the public discourse has shifted away from the intricacies of royal protocol or the symbolism of the crown. Instead, the focus has settled on a more fundamental story, that of a man, a partner and a parent navigating a profound personal crisis that has resonated with people from all walks of life. The British people, who have watched Prince William grow up and step into his destiny, are now regarding him through a different lens. He is no longer seen merely as a distant royal symbol, but as one of their own, a human being experiencing a pain so profound that not even the grandest palace walls can conceal it. From bustling city centers to the quietest village lanes, a rare and unifying compassion has taken hold, bridging societal divides and connecting the nation in a shared moment of quiet understanding. Across the country, conversations about the news are hushed and solemn, filled with a genuine sense of worry rather than mere intrigue. In a show of quiet support, shop windows have become impromptu memorials, displaying photographs of the prince and his family flanked by heartfelt messages wishing them strength. The scene outside Buckingham Palace is not one of tourist spectacle but of profound solidarity. A vigil continues day and night, marked by the soft glow of candles that defy the darkness, while the palace railings disappear beneath a growing mountain of floral tributes. The air is thick with a low, persistent murmur of prayer and reflection. In living rooms nationwide, families are drawn together by the unfolding story, their faces illuminated by television screens and etched with a mix of sadness and deep respect. For many, this feels intensely personal. They have watched William mature in the public eye, recalling the grieving boy who lost his mother and the resolute man who channeled his own sorrow into a mission of service and compassion. They see past the royal title to the person beneath, a man who has dedicated his life to duty while striving to protect his family from the unrelenting pressures that accompany his role. In response, faith communities have become beacons of solace. Leaders from various denominations have issued calls for empathy and togetherness, while churches and cathedrals have extended their hours, offering quiet spaces for vigil-keeping and silent contemplation. While the nation has endured many crises, this moment feels uniquely poignant and fragile. It has revealed a universal truth, that behind the pomp and ceremony of the crown beats a heart as vulnerable as any other. This wave of empathy has transcended borders, with messages of support flowing in from around the world. Yet amid the global outcry, the most meaningful comfort for the prince likely stems from the steadfast support of his own people. The British spirit, renowned for its resilience and capacity for quiet dignity in times of adversity, has once again risen to the fore. The public is not demanding official statements or public appearances. They are simply and powerfully willing the prince and his family a sense of peace and the space to heal. As night falls and an uneasy quiet settles over the nation, a single powerful truth emerges. Prince William's story has evolved beyond a royal narrative. It has become a universal reflection on human fragility and endurance. He is a man who has borne the expectations of millions, and now, in his time of trial, those millions are offering their support in return. The monarchy has withstood countless challenges throughout history, but few have resonated with such raw emotional depth. Regardless of what the future holds, this chapter will be remembered not for its pain, but for the profound wave of compassion it unleashed. For even in the deepest shadows of sorrow, the unwavering support of a nation shines with a light that outshines any crown.